A man goes missing in Pulaski County, and a week later, investigators find a body at his home. We're tracking the investigation coming up.
A special night tonight in Woodford County as a football player's dreams come true.
And a jury returns a verdict for a former Lexington firefighter on trial for a hit and run.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
Hello, and thanks for staying up late with us after football. The search for a missing man leads investigators in southern Kentucky to a body.
They made the discovery on the man's property on Jones Knob Road in Pulaski County. Right now, police are waiting for confirmation on the identity of that body, but they have made 2 arrests in the man's disappearance. Garrett Weimer is tracking the investigation tonight in our top story.
The tape is still up on the chain link fence where a gravel offshoot of Jones Knob dead ends. It's quiet, but it's still a crime scene. Deputies say the man who lived here, Edward Van Wormer, was reported missing on the 15th. Investigators found a body at the property on Wednesday.
And the medical examiner will determine how long they think the body had been there. But we know that it had not been recently there.
Deputies say Van Wormer's son, Jedediah Van Wormer, who neighbors say went by Lee, and his son's girlfriend, Amanda Braddock, lived in the home with Van Wormer. But investigators tracked them down in North Carolina, working with deputies there to arrest them for tampering with physical evidence.
And with their SWAT team, or with a group of officers, surrounded the house and took these 2 individuals into custody without further incident.
Neighbors say what happened out here scared them. They didn't want to go on camera because of the circumstances, but they told me they're glad the 2 were arrested because they were afraid they'd come back. The medical examiner's report has not yet come back as to whether the body found is Van Wormer, but neighbors say, sadly, there's no doubt in their minds. In Pulaski County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
The cause of the death has also not been released. Clinard says he expects to hear results within 24 hours. He also says more charges could be filed after that, so we'll continue to follow that story. Okay, need to dig out your umbrella, maybe your poncho. Our stretch of dry weather is coming to an end.
Yeah, rain is going to start moving in. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is tracking the changes for us.
Yeah, those changes, guys, going in reverse, coming from east to west. Big area of low pressure. You can see the winds really piling up here along the east coast, circulating around that area of low pressure. And look at all the rains now continuing to funnel in across the southeastern seaboard, flooding, a big problem over the next few days into parts of the Carolinas. Not talking about anything like that around here, just some periods of showers kicking in later tonight into early tomorrow morning into parts of southeastern Kentucky, then progressing into the rest of the region as your afternoon wears on for Friday. Already now getting some drops into the Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia border counties, are just across the border into Virginia and Tennessee. That'll cross on in to southeastern Kentucky later on tonight. So the showers arrive from east to west. The best chance for the entire area comes late tomorrow and into our Friday evening. Most areas will start out the day dry, so if you have some outdoor activities to get in, try to do them through the early afternoon hours before the rains really kick into high gear. Now, through the weekend, we'll see some on and off raindrops, local amounts. I say local amounts, a few spots maybe hitting an inch. I think many of us, guys, come in around a half inch or a little under. New rainfall forecasts from the models when I come back in a few minutes.
A jury convicted a former Lexington firefighter in a hit and run. The jury found Jared McCargo guilty on 6 counts, including assault and DUI. Police say McCargo backed into Noel Espino outside the beer trap last September. Espino lost his left leg in that crash. The jury recommended 10 years in prison. Kim Davis says Governor Steve Beshear is to blame for all of her legal troubles. When the Supreme Court legalized gay marriage in June, the governor ordered the state's 120 county clerks to issue licenses. In a 40-page document filed Thursday, Davis said the governor took control of the county clerk's offices and Kentucky marriage law with the order. Davis is suing Beshear, claiming that issuing marriage licenses violates her right to religious freedom. Governor Beshear has asked a judge to dismiss the suit. He has always been there for his team, supporting them from the sidelines. Thursday night, one Woodford County Middle School student's dream of joining his teammates on the field finally came true.
New tonight, WKYT's Monique Blair shows us why the opportunity was special for the player and his coach.
That's what I'm talking about. Fire out!
On Thursday night, the Woodford County Middle School Tigers hosted the Scott County Cardinals in their last home game of the season.
Black, gold, and white! Tigers are ready to fight!
And there is one very special Tiger who has been on these sidelines since he was 3 years old, always encouraging his Tigers to go for the win.
And he's always been very loyal to me. He's such a sweet boy, and I'm so excited for him.
So excited because tonight, number 4, Alex Berry, here's his number called to go in for the very first time.
You got this, Alex.
Come on, Alex, let's go.
Now this game wasn't only special for Alex, it was also very special for his dad because he happens to be the coach.
It was cool. It was bittersweet. You know, I'm in the middle of the game screaming, hollering, and coaching, and then you got to turn all that off real quick. You become dad, and it was special. It was a lot of fun.
Player number 4, who has Down syndrome, ran, and boy did he. Not just to the goal, but also into everyone's hearts, including mine.
When your child wants to play, that's your dream, is to see them play. And he fulfilled his dream, which in turn fulfilled my dream tonight.
The Tigers fought hard but lost the game 26-24. But because of the brightest player on the team,
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, man, no, cry.
I know, made everybody cry.
everyone left feeling like winners.
We're good. I will do it again.
In Woodford County,
Good.
Monique Blair, WKYT.
Special night. Alex's mom tells us he plans to be a part of his football team next year when he is in high school.
Police continue to search for suspects in a violent home invasion. Lexington police say a man woke up to find 2 strangers in his home on Mount Forker Drive. We're told they shot the man when he confronted them.
It kind of makes you nervous because it was so close. Like, it's 2 houses down, and nothing like that's really happened over here before.
The victim went to the hospital, but police have not said what his injuries were. An argument between 2 groups ended in a shooting. It happened about 6 Thursday night at a shopping center on Eureka Springs Drive. Lexington police say 1 person was shot. The victim later showed up at a hospital with a non-life-threatening injury.
A dog attack sent a woman to the hospital. Animal Control says the attack happened inside the woman's home on Woodward Lane in Lexington as she broke up a fight between her dogs. A neighbor tells us the same dog killed his Jack Russell Terrier when he dropped some fencing off to its owner.
And these dogs have attacked and killed 2 other dogs on the street. They've attacked 2 other people on the street. We have done everything we can to try to get, Animal Control to do something about this.
Animal Control confirms they've responded to this home before. The dog's owner was taken to UK hospital with severe but non-life-threatening injuries.
There is now a reward in a deadly hit-and-run crash. Someone hit and killed 71-year-old Billy Croucher as he walked along Prospect Street in Berea last Friday night. Berea police are offering a $1,000 reward in the case. Police say it's rare for them to put up a reward, especially this early, but they feel time is crucial in closing this case.
2 people face 127 charges each in a counterfeiting ring. 41-year-old Daniel Rowe and 18-year-old Mariah Rowe were arrested Thursday afternoon at a home on Bait Shop Road in Bath County. State police say they had $2,000 in counterfeit bills and an EBT card belonging to another person. Lawyers for the alleged leader in a bourbon theft ring want to know the identity of the person who tipped off investigators. The State Journal reports that Gilbert Kurtzinger's lawyer filed a motion requesting the information. Kurtzinger did receive the content of the text message, but his lawyer says the request was not honored because it did not include the tipster's phone number, name, or address. The bourbon was stolen from 2 distilleries. It's been called the largest bourbon heist in Kentucky history.
Work to install a traffic signal at a new intersection moved forward on Thursday. The state plans to put the signal up at Citation Boulevard and Greendale Road. The intersection saw 5 crashes in the first day it was open. A traffic engineering supervisor met with the design team Thursday to discuss options. The state says the signal will be installed as soon as possible. Sanitation workers held a rally before Thursday's Urban County Council meeting. They were there to express concerns about on-the-job safety. They say changes have been made to their routes, causing injuries to workers and longer hours.
Every day our job is getting dangerous and dangerous. Our safety program is not nothing like it used to be.
The workers plan to take their concerns to the council during their meeting.
The Kentucky Supreme Court will decide whether Louisville's new minimum wage law is legal. The city council voted to raise it to $9 last year, but the Kentucky Restaurant Association sued. A state appeals court upheld the wage in June. Lexington discussed a minimum wage increase, but tabled it until the Louisville case is resolved. It's not the kind of surprise most of us want. A Lexington woman found this in a hall closet Thursday morning. She lives in an apartment on Altamont Court. We're told the rat snake, which is non-venomous, was about 4 feet long. The woman called animal control, and they now have the snake.
4 people have died in a crash between a charter bus and a Ride the Ducks tour vehicle.
The crash happened this afternoon on a bridge in Seattle. The victims were all Chinese students attending a local college. Now, witnesses say it was a chaotic scene.
I got out of my car and there were just bodies just everywhere.
A dozen people were injured. Investigators are trying to figure out exactly what caused the crash. A Louisville woman convicted in her son's death will get a new trial. Molly Schaus's 2-year-old died in May of 2011 after being left in a car for 12 hours. A jury convicted her of wanton murder. Today, the state Supreme Court overturned the conviction, saying her conduct does not support a conviction on that charge. Instead, the justices said a law passed in 2000 that created a new type of second-degree manslaughter should apply. Pope Francis is in New York City tonight. It's his second stop on his historic U.S. tour.
Kenneth Craig shows us how he wrapped up his busy day.
There he goes.
Thousands of spectators lined Fifth Avenue to welcome Pope Francis to New York.
I can't express the happiness in my heart.
He's just such a wonderful, loving person.
The Holy Father joined priests and bishops for evening prayer at St. Patrick's Cathedral, which recently completed a $177 million renovation. The Pope arrived in New York after a whirlwind schedule in Washington, making history with the first ever papal address to a joint meeting of Congress. Francis called for the protection of life, attention to the poor, and progress on immigration reform and climate change.
Now is the time for courageous action and strategies.
People who watched outside were impressed.
He's a man who just inspires a lot of hope.
I think he's really nice, that he helps a lot of people.
The Pope has tried to get as close to the people as possible during his trip and moved even reserved lawmakers to tears.
Thank you very much, and God bless America.
The city is energized for this Pope's visit. On Friday, he will address the United Nations, visit Ground Zero, and a school in Harlem. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
The Pope took a helicopter to Manhattan after landing at New York's John F. Kennedy Airport. A UK graduate is bringing her business and 50 new jobs to Kentucky. Innovative Mattress Solutions is moving its headquarters to Lexington. You know the company is Sleep Outfitters. IMS plans to move into the old headquarters for Tempur-Pedic on Jaggy Fox Way.